Are you stuck in a heartbreak rut and finding it so hard to stop those thoughts about your ex going over and over in your head? Are you also replaying moments in the relationship, trying to understand what happened and where it all went wrong? If you are, this video is for you. I'm going to give you a really helpful, practical tool that will help you to take the first step out of obsessive thought patterns that can keep you stuck in this rut. My name is Shelley, and I'm a specialist relationship coach, helping people all over the world to heal from and recover from heartbreak, to improve their relationships, to find even better patterns, and to thrive in love and connections. In my many years of working with people who've become stuck in a heartbreak rut, I've learned that one of the fastest ways to start to get relief from heartbreak is using techniques that will allow you to take a break from something I call search and seek. This process is about understanding the state that you're in and how to start to manage it. We want to get out of this search and seek mode, also known as stop the crazy, and I say this tongue-in-cheek. Although it does sound funny, it's so true. In order to understand this, I will explain what is happening in the brain when your relationship ends. The experience of heartbreak is also the experience of loss. It's a grief state, and initially we are in shock or denial, and then those loopy thoughts start. When something is lost, your brain locks into search and seek mode. It's like when you lose your keys. Your brain narrows its focus into a tunnel vision. When you've lost a relationship, it becomes impossible to focus on anything else initially. This state is triggered by a particular mode of perception in which we completely focus our attention on this loss and the pain that accompanies it. Not only have you lost something, you are desperate to find a reason why it has been lost, even if you instigated the ending. With heartbreak, you can get easily locked into this because it's such a fundamental part of your life. Even if someone has given you a reason for the ending of the relationship, or even if you think you have a clear reason yourself, it's hard to let go of the questions around why did this happen? What does this mean? I once worked with a client who had been dumped by their partner and was still 5 years later desperately trying to understand why, and kept reading and rereading all those text messages. It's part of human psychology that we are driven by the desire to avoid pain and loss. Our brains have evolved to hold on to things that feel of value and significant to us. Loss is a form of change, and dealing with change takes a tremendous amount of energy. So our brains are hardwired to avoid change and therefore avoid loss. Heartbreak is experienced as a trauma, especially if it comes out of the blue. And the brain's natural response to trauma is to sometimes lock into this tunnel vision and to feel shut down. In tunnel awareness or tunnel vision, you're mostly unaware of what else is possible or achievable in a situation and unable to create more resourceful perceptions and responses. So you could say that stress and anxiety frequently stem from tunnel awareness because this is a limited frame of reference. But this kind of tunnel vision isn't helpful and keeps us stuck. So if we're going around in circles, we need to break out from this pattern. When you learn to open up your awareness and integrate a broader, more holistic perspective, you can shift your perception about yourself and the challenging situation. What do you need to do about this tunnel vision? The first step out of this tunnel vision is being aware of it, recognizing that you're locked in to the search and seek, and then deciding to do something to stop it. As our brains are wired to resist change, if we give ourselves conscious permission to acknowledge that we're stuck and that being stuck causes us more pain, we can start to ease our way towards allowing change to happen. So the first thing is to become aware that you are caught up with your thoughts and they're caught in a loop in this tunnel vision, and I'm going to help you to break the cycle. Remember, it's part of creating change, and these steps are the very first steps that you're going to implement to change what is happening in your mind and perception. As we practice these next steps, you will possibly for the first time today begin to experience less stress and anxiety. I'm going to give you a technique that you can use to help with this. The exercise is called an open awareness exercise, which is a softening of the focus and a widening of your awareness. I do this a lot with my clients and have found that it brings really good results. If you do this with me now and then repeat this by yourself in your own time, you'll see great benefits. These are the 3 steps relating to, number 1, your vision, number 2, your hearing, and 3, soma, in other words, the bodily sensations. Okay, let's start with vision. Start by fixating your gaze on any object in front of you. Gradually include more of what's on each side in your visual field of awareness. This is your peripheral vision. Here it's important to note that the objects in your periphery remain out of focus. Hence, do not try to see more. Rather, allow your visual field to include more of what's in both extremities of your visual field, the left and the right simultaneously. Now we're going to turn to hearing. Close your eyes and pay attention to what you hear going on in the environment around you. Progressively include the sounds that are further away and the sounds that are more subtle, like the sound behind a sound. Then become aware of the fact that you are only able to hear the sounds around you and far away because your awareness is extended out to those points. In other words, you hear those sounds occurring within your awareness. Allow yourself to experience this extended awareness as not only your auditory sense detecting those sounds, but rather as your whole sense of self that is extended. Everything that is experienced far outside you is now experienced within you. Finally, we'll focus on the bodily feelings and sensations. Start by focusing on the rising and lowering of the belly with each inhalation and exhalation. Then extend the rising and lowering experience to include your whole torso. Feel your body against the chair and start to become aware of your breath as you breathe in and out. That's it. It's that simple. The point here is that you are consciously shifting your attention into something else, widening up your focus away from the obsessive thinking, and therefore starting to send messages to the brain that it's safe to stop obsessing or focusing on just one thing. I'm going to put a link in here for another video that I think you might find interesting called How to Get Over Your Ex. In this video, I go into a lot more detail about what's happening in your brain when you're suffering from heartbreak and share some further advice on how you can start to heal and recover. I love sharing my tools and tips and guidance with you and supporting you on your journey to thriving relationships. Please subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button so we can travel this path together.